Welcome to Speaking Holistically, the podcast that explores the power of alternative medicine, natural healing, and homeopathic solutions to help you achieve true wellness. Each week, Dr. Jen and Amy G dive into the world of holistic health, discussing researched, time-tested remedies with expert insights from Dr. Jen, as well as real-life stories from patients to empower you to take charge of your health. So if you're ready to embrace a more natural path to wellness, let's start speaking holistically, because true healing begins from within. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Speaking Holistically. I'm your co-host, Amy G. I'm here with my amazing co-host, Dr. Jen, and we have a special guest today, Barb, also known on YouTube as No Carb Barb. And you are a patient of Dr. Jen. So we're going to get to hear your patient story today. These are my favorite. I love patient stories. So Barb, why don't you tell us kind of how you met Dr. Jen, and we'll kind of go from there.
Okay, awesome. And thank you for having me. So I met Dr. Jen back in 2019. And several coworkers of mine were talking about this amazing functional chiropractor. And so I just had to go check her out. And so I'll never forget the day I walked into her office with my nice folder with my stuff in it. And she's looking at me like, what the heck is this? And then it was just a great relationship right from the start. Had tons of issues. Would like to say they're all gone. I had lots of subscriptions, I should say. So still have some issues coming out, but working on it. It's been an awesome 6 years. I owe so much to Dr. Jen. She has been not only a great physician, but a friend and mentor. And so I cannot thank her enough.
Wow.
Well, you're welcome. It's been a pleasure working with you. And the other thing with the folders, I love the folders. I shouldn't say that because I don't want people bringing folders, but not everybody anyway. But no, I love it because I know that she has done her due diligence. She's done the research. She's bringing in information that she thinks will be viable or necessary for giving her some answers. And so I love that. I love when people are organized like that. And I love checklists so I can make sure I'm checking everything off. So Barb is like my dream patient that comes in super organized, and not that I don't love other people, but it's great because she's willing to do the hard work when it's necessary. So, and she does, like if you tell her to do something or ask her to do it, she does it 100%, not like, 50% or 80%, like it's 100%. And so you know whether it's going to work or not almost instantly because she's so disciplined. And if she stood up right now, her body would put most 20-year-olds to shame. So, she's in incredible shape. She works out, she eats well, she does everything that she could possibly do for herself. So lots of good self-care after she finally quit a very stressful job that she'd been at for almost 3 decades. So,
Wow.
her stress levels, I'm sure, are still coming down at this point, in the cortisol levels. So that's part of her journey as well. But what we're here to talk about a little bit more is her care, but also what she has done in the last year and how she's helped other people as well with some of their paths. So,
and I have a feeling this is going to tie into your No Carb Barb name. I have to imagine this is all correlated.
Absolutely. So what's interesting is that Amy hasn't had meat in how many years? 8 years?
Yeah, over 8 years.
Mm-hmm. Over 8 years. And Barb has had nothing but meat for the last year. She just had her, what was it? The Carniversary?
Yes, my 1-year anniversary was Saturday.
So tell us a little bit more about what got you there, what you decided to do, how you decided to do it, and then how you feel doing what you're doing and how you're helping other people.
Okay. So I have a long history of autoimmune issues, pretty severe, and I'll just bring that out. Probably the two most prevalent are psoriatic arthritis and lupus. And so those have kind of wreaked havoc on my body for the past 20 years.
Wow.
And I've been on all the things, all the biologics and medications and all that stuff, and just really increasingly wanted to get away from those pharmaceuticals for lots of reasons. And so I had been exploring diet and other methodologies for a long time and had tried several things. I've kind of done the gamut, did paleo, I did keto, I was vegan for a while. So I've tried all the things. And I was actually listening to a podcast on my way to Dr. Jen's. And I heard a guest on the podcast. She's a nurse practitioner out of Dixon, Tennessee. Her name's Amanda Decker. And she was talking about how the carnivore diet put her psoriasis in remission. And I thought, you know what? I'm gonna do it. Now, one caveat, a couple years earlier, I tried carnivore for like a day and a half and had no idea what I was doing. And it was not productive at that point in time. But this time I heard what she said and I thought, you know what do I have to lose? So I went to Costco and bought some meat, and then I just started researching everything I could. I listened to podcasts, watched YouTube videos, checked out books just to learn more about it. And so that was May 3rd of 2024. And so I do eat, I'd say only meat. I also eat eggs and animal-based products. For me, mostly meat and eggs. I do not do well with dairy, although that is considered carnivore. Doesn't really work well for me. So primarily meat and eggs for the past year, and I have felt really good. I will say that I was not as low carb as I thought I was in prior years. I cut gluten out in 2019. I mean, I've done a lot of things, but the whole net carb thing, that's just garbage. That doesn't work. And when I actually cut out all of the plants, I could see my symptoms start to subside.
So it's pretty interesting because, everybody is looking for the thing, right? The thing for themselves of how this is going to fix this or heal this or whatever. And it's interesting that Amy does no meat, you do only meat. And that just goes to show you how different our bodies are and how our genetics play a role into this. So I always tell people, like, just because your neighbor, their life changed when they started eating a banana every day. I mean, whatever their story is, doesn't mean that's going to work for you. So paying attention to that and talking about getting genetic labs done to see how your body deals with saturated fats and things like that can make a huge difference, because it can either add fuel to the fire or it can put out the fire. And in your case, Barb, those saturated fats definitely helped to decrease that fire. So tell us a little bit more about how your body has changed, how have you been feeling, but also how your physique has changed. Because I mean, I can tell you within the first couple of months of her starting this, it was like, holy cow, like some people would sell their soul to the devil for that body, I mean, and not just what it looks like, because she does look incredible, but she also looks healthy. And that's the other thing. The inflammation has decreased overall in her body, stuff like that. So go ahead and tell us a little bit more.
Yeah. So when I first started carnivore, I thought, oh my gosh, I am gonna like put on a ton of weight because, oh my goodness, meat is fatty and that's bad, all that stuff that I've been raised on actually, and the whole diet culture. But when I started eating carnivore, probably within the first couple of weeks, I immediately dropped weight, which was inflammation. I mean, that's just water. If you think about carbohydrates, that's what carb and hydrate, you're holding on to water. So when that inflammation started to go, I dropped that water weight. So I wasn't attempting to lose weight at that point, but I dropped about 10 pounds and have kept that off. I could immediately tell a difference in my muscle tone. I've been working out for a few years, so that, my lean mass improved. I actually had like a scan at the Bod Pod. There's a place in Knoxville that does that. And my body fat percentage went down. It was down like a percentage point, and then I had it done again. Like I did that maybe in June, and then in August, it was down another almost 2%. So I haven't had it tested since then, but I mean, that was really interesting, and I could definitely tell a difference. My trainer could tell a difference in how I was working out and what I was able to do. So that's just been really cool.
So your strength actually was impacted.
Yes.
Wow.
Well, because meat is so high in amino acids, and we need a lot of amino acids for muscle integrity, right? As we age, especially those that have been moved into assisted living or independent even living places, they tend to eat a lot of carbs, a lot of sugars, a lot of desserts. And then we wonder why our older generation has no muscle tone anymore. They're withering away and stuff like that. So just, I mean, obviously working out helps, but if you're not getting the nutrients in to sustain that muscle tone, that's
Yeah.
going to be an issue too. And then you have more sustained injuries and things like that. But I mean, Barb is chiseled, like chiseled. So when she says her body fat, her composition changed, I mean, it was instantaneous. It was crazy at how much, because she's always worked out. But to see that chiseling was like, good Lord, like unbelievable. So Barb, do you mind sharing with us how old you are? Because I know you just had a birthday.
Yes, so I just turned 55.
Oh my God. I would have never guessed that.
I
Yeah.
love this podcast.
Oh,
My favorite one. You're going to the
I'm
top of
serious. I
the
am being serious. Yeah. Wow, that blows me away. Wow. Wow.
Okay, so you got into eating carnivore, all this stuff has shifted. So now what are you doing to help? I know you've helped one of my friends with working on eating more carnivore and seeing her inflammation and her body weight come down for the first time in her entire life. So what are you doing with patients or with people, clients, like to help them as far as this goes? Like what do you offer? Because I know you do have a business now helping people with this, which is fabulous because they're getting more information from somebody who lives the lifestyle, not just has gone to a weekend seminar now and is selling some program, you know? So tell us a little bit more about what you're doing, what you have to offer.
Okay. Yes, so I just launched a business called Encouraging Wellness. And just, I want to preface that by saying a couple of years ago, I decided that I was going to enroll in a health coaching course and wasn't sure what I was going to do with it. At that time, I was in my corporate job, and so I was doing the classes at night, and I was just really interested in it. And so had a mentor named Dr. Jen that said, "Hey, I think something's going to come of this at some point." And I was like, "Yeah, whatever." And so going through that coaching program was really beneficial for me. During that time, I had to do a bunch of practicums and videoed coaching sessions, and I had to be the client as well as the coach. And it was during those sessions where I was a client that I really discovered that my life was not in alignment. Like what I really wanted to do and was passionate about was not what I was doing. So fast forward and decided to retire from my corporate career, which was a great job, but it was time to do something else. And so I still wasn't sure, how am I really going to coach? But I just love it. I just love helping people and I love sharing things to people. And I think that it's imperative that people are heard, especially women. So many women, you don't feel good, and then the doctor says, "Oh, you're just getting older," or "You're depressed," or "You're stressed," or whatever. And that is so frustrating because you know your body, and if it's not right, you know it.
Yeah.
And you owe it to yourself to figure out what's going on. And so I got that original certification. I'm a board certified health and wellness coach. But then I also decided to get certified in keto, carnivore, and protein sparing modified fast nutrition. And then also I'm certified in functional nutrition through Mind Body Green. So even though I am carnivore and it is working well for me, like Jen said, that doesn't mean that everybody has to be carnivore. I don't think that. I think that there are many different ways that people can nourish their bodies, and whole food nutrition is the way to go. So that's kind of where I am. I just launched my business. And again, Dr. Jen has been super supportive of me, and I thank her for her constant support in that. And I'm just excited to work with people. I have a few people that I've been working with on various things. Probably one of the most exciting is helping someone use a low carb ketogenic diet for mental health benefits. I think
Wow.
there's a huge benefit to that, and just seeing results there. So I'm really excited just starting out. So I just really want to help people.
Well, your brain is only as healthy as your gut is, right? So, I mean, 90% of serotonin is manufactured in the gut, and people don't put that together. So they think they can eat Doritos, Cheetos, whatever it is, and then be healthy, and you can't. So, but like I said, your genetics also let you know. That's why I think getting those genetic tests done are so important. And I know that there's biohackers out there that are like, oh, the genetic tests are $600 or whatever, but like through MaxGen, we do them for $350, and it's an owner's manual. You can figure out, like, is saturated fat pro-inflammatory for you genetically? And some people say, well, I eat it and I don't have any inflammation. That's fine. I'm not saying it's going to create symptoms, but genetically, this is how you are wired. So at some point, those scales can tip, or that light switch gets flipped on, and now that could be a pro-inflammatory issue for you. So what's interesting is with Barb being, low carb Barb, doing all of this, it has incredibly helped her inflammation, how her body deals with stress, how her brain deals with stress. I don't encourage everybody to do something that they decide that they want to do, but Barb is very well educated. She's extremely intelligent. And I really felt like there's something missing as far as doing different sorts of dietary changes, because we're not all privy to that information. I mean, if you look at the RDA, right, the bottom of that triangle is all carbohydrates, and they're all refined, and the proteins at the top. And we're just like, wait, this is completely backwards. And no wonder we go to Europe and they're like, oh, look, there's an American, that sort of a thing, because we eat differently, and we don't eat, the quality of our food isn't as high as it is in a lot of other countries. So having her be an asset for a lot of people who have tried this diet and that diet and this diet and that diet, and maybe they didn't do so well because they read a book and they tried it and they didn't have her in their corner. So I love that she is an advocate for someone to support them with whatever they're needing, but she's also super educated so that she can shift gears, kind of figure out what to do. And because she's really gone through the ringer with her own health, I think that's a huge gift, because she's able to take her actual experiences and be able to be like, okay, let's shift gears, as opposed to, no, this is what you're doing, this is how it's supposed to work, and be super rigid, because I mean, this is real life, right? So, and how many of us have been to physicians who, have never had issues with weight or inflammation or anything, and they're like, well, try this, I mean, I've definitely had issues with weight, especially after having 4 kids, and I exercise all the time. I drink only water. I eat really, really well. And my husband's super thin and super tall, and he does not eat anywhere near the way I eat. I eat way healthier than he does. And I remember this doctor telling me, you eat what he eats. And I was like, oh my gosh, if I ate what he ate, I would be 4,000 pounds. I can't eat like that, So having someone who can listen to you and know what your past experiences have been with different things can help. And I think that that's where Barb is a huge asset. And there's an entire area missing for that. And so that's why that's why I encouraged her to do this and encouraged her to start this business, because I'm only one person, and I need all the help I can get saving the world. So so Barb is a huge, like I said, asset. I don't know how many times I have to say that or can say it to really be emphatic about that, because there's so many people who are not getting the information or the support that they need. So this is where Barb comes in for sure. And I think she's a phenomenal person. Like I said, she's very disciplined, but that doesn't mean she's rigid. So that's the cool part. So I mean,
so
I know
Barb,
her husband, so.
Barb, what? So Barb, can you explain a little bit about your business and what you do for people?
Sure. So Encouraging Wellness is basically a health and wellness coaching business. And so honestly, I can coach on any of the pillars of health. There's several of them. I mean, nutrition's one of them, but also sleep and stress. And there's an emotional component, spiritual, financial. I've actually coached somebody on how to do a budget. It's just health means a lot of different things to different people, and just finding out, hey, really, what does health mean? So I was working with someone yesterday, and that person had come to me primarily to lose weight. or so she thought. So I said, well, what does health look like? And what she said actually started with mindset. She was saying, just getting up mentally, having the energy and feeling good and being able to take care of my family. And so when she said that, I said, what I'm hearing you say is that those things are really the most important to you. And yes, you would like to lose weight. So maybe we need to start there because it's what is important to the individual. And sometimes they don't even know until they say it. And I think that's the beauty of coaching. It allows people to verbalize things that they haven't, and they realize, hey, what I thought that I really wanted may not be the most important thing. And I truly believe that losing weight doesn't necessarily lead to better health. Better health leads to losing weight.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's what you start with.
Well, and the aspect of yours talking about helping somebody with a budget. I mean, I know how, just with our relationship for over all these years, I know that you are, like I said, very disciplined, even in the money area, as far as some of the conversations that we've had. So there's a lot of people who were never taught that, didn't have any tools for that. And so if their money situation or their debt gets out of control, it doesn't matter how many supplements they're taking of ashwagandha or what they're doing as far as all of this stuff, because that stress is constantly there. They won't be able to sleep because that stress is waking them up, because they're drowning. So once again, what does health look like for you? That's a huge question. That's something that we all should be asking. Every physician should be asking, different aspects of their emotional health, their spiritual health, their nutritional health, their physical health, all of that kind of stuff. And those questions aren't being asked. They look at labs, they give a drug, we call it a day. Generally speaking, there are plenty of integrative doctors out there that are doing a great job. So I'm not bashing anybody, but I don't think all the questions are being asked. And so I think that's where Barb can come in and be that missing piece, that she's the bridge basically between what's going on and where they could be. So yeah, so she has coaching options available on her website as well, and has been helping quite a few people, and it's been amazing to watch.
Yeah, I do have another thing, way in which carnivore really helps people. Anyone who is struggling with sugar addiction and food addiction, carnivore is kind of the ultimate elimination diet. And I really think there are two kinds of people, and this, I didn't come up with this, but there are abstainers and moderators. So my husband can eat 2 bites of a piece of cake and put it aside, and he's great. He's definitely a moderator, does not have food issues. You put a cake in front of me, it's gone. And I mean, I love to eat, volume eater, still can be a volume eater. But once I went carnivore, the sugar cravings truly went away. You can put a chocolate cake in front of me and it doesn't bother me. I don't sit around going, oh my goodness, I really wish I could have a piece of cake. I don't have that.
Wow.
That food noise goes away. And so I think that's really powerful, because a lot of people feel like, oh my goodness, I cannot succeed on whatever way of eating they're trying. But if you're truly addicted to sugar, even a little bit, even artificial sweeteners can trigger that. And I really think that going carnivore can help people quiet that food noise and finally have the freedom to be able to enjoy eating and not feel like, oh my gosh, I'm going to go in the pantry and I'm never going to come out again.
Well, I think what's interesting is like people, so my husband is a total health nut, and he's like, he works out 2 hours a day and he eats pounds and pounds of lean protein and vegetables. And right, he's a real clean eater, 2 gallons of water a day, all these things. And he said a lot of people have this mindset of like, when it comes to food, I just want to eat the best possible tasting thing. I want to eat something that comforts me. I want to eat something, I want to eat the best possible version of that, right? The fattiest dessert with like the ice cream and the hot fudge. And when they could eat something that is a healthier version that tastes almost as good. And they don't look at food as fuel. They look at food for emotional, like filling a void or whatever that is, like pressing that button for them emotionally. And he's like, that's one of the biggest problems, I think, for people in general, is their relationship with food is not this is to fuel my body and give my body what it needs. So it's yeah, there's a mindset piece to it for sure. And if they look at it like that, then yeah, they probably are going to go into the pantry and never come out. So I think it's that's an important facet for sure, is how do they look at food? How do they feel about it?
Well, and there are plenty of, like, my daughter is a foodie. Like she's when I travel, she's like, "Are you gonna bring me snacks?" I'm like, "What?" Because there's vending machines at the airport, and I'm like, "I've never bought anything out of a vending machine for you in my life," that sort of thing. But for her, when I traveled and I'd come back, she wanted me to bring her snacks, and I thought that was very interesting because I've never rewarded my children with food. I've never done it as an emotional thing. This is what we're eating. This is why it's good for you. So it's just interesting that even that aspect of me being this regimented and how I raised my kids, she still ended up being somebody who has an affinity for food, and she does do some equation with, I don't know what it is. I don't think it's comfort. I think it might be love to a certain degree. Like I missed her. I loved her. So I brought her food. Like, I don't know. I wasn't, I don't have that. I don't have that in my head. So I don't even know what's going on in her head, to be very honest. But she's really good. If she starts to feel sick or she doesn't feel right, she'll pull back from those crappy foods. So she can make those choices and does. But you're right. There's definitely an emotional aspect for a lot of that. And the cake thing, like Barb said, she'll eat the whole chocolate cake, or would, before she became a carnivore, And that's why I think Barb understanding that. So a lot of people think, oh, look how thin she is. She's never had an issue with food. Not the case, huh, Barb? So Barb has done.
It's really the case.
But because you understand people better. And I think that that's really, really important because, you see these people on TikTok, and this woman's like, I lost 100 pounds. And I was like, she's full of it. She never gained. There's no way she was 100 pounds overweight. I was looking at her body and I'm like, there is no way. But she's doing it as a advertisement, basically. And everyone's believing that she's done this with all these beautiful keto recipes. And I'm thinking, and I mean, she could, but I'm looking at it going, I haven't seen one picture of her overweight. Normally you would add that in so people could see the before and after. But in this situation, Barb is the real deal because she has had brain food connection issues that she knows about and she's dealt with and managed. And so I think that makes her more real and will be able to help more people because it's not just somebody who's never had this issue. So she knows how to start with people and talk to them and give them the advice that they need for themselves and potentially their genetics as well.
Yeah, she's walked the walk, which that's everything. It is, because that is built-in trust for the clients you work with.
Yeah, I hope so, because I really want to connect with people, and it just, again, like I said before, I'm passionate about people being heard. And I also want to be realistic in that I don't think any nutrition plan, anything, if you're looking for the silver bullet that's going to cure everything in your life and make everything wonderful and beautiful, I mean, I don't think it's out there. And if it is, will you let me know where I can go so I can get that? I've been looking, I'm still looking, I'm not going to give up. But I mean, I think it's important for people to understand that there are lots of things you can do to support your health and changes you can make. But just to have one magic button to push that's going to make everything fantastic, don't think that's been discovered yet. So maybe I will discover it and I'll be totally famous and I'll have so many people.
Or with social media, you just say you did and there you go, and sell it and then disappear overnight. Because that's what a lot of these things, patients will call me and be like, I just bought this and I just got this product. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm pretty sure that's sawdust. You know what I mean? But I'm glad that you only spent, $50 on it. So no, and that's why I said Barb is the real deal, because she doesn't come from this perfect background of never having any issues. I mean, she's had all of them and has been able to overcome them and tried everything. And she'll be able to quickly be able to shift things for her clients based upon how they're feeling, what they're doing, because she has had the actual experience, not just took the courses and the certifications and read it in a book somewhere. That's what I think makes her more effective, because she completely gets it from every level.
Yeah, absolutely. So Barb, before we leave you, what is your website? If people want to work with you, if they want to know more about you, what is your website?
It is encouragingwellness.org.
Okay, perfect.
And you're also on YouTube as No Carb Barb, right?
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's right. You're on YouTube, No Carb Barb. So that's the name of your YouTube channel?
Yes, I just started it a couple of weeks ago, so not a lot on there yet, but more to come.
We got her. You heard first here.
Breaking news, breaking news. Well, Barb, this was fascinating. Thank you for joining us and just giving us a little glimpse into your world. So I think just your transformation and everything that you've been through, I think clients will find that what a powerful story for them to hear. And hopefully they're going to hear it and go, I want to work with her, because you went from one side to the other, and you get to tell that story. So thank you, Barb, for being here. And thank you, everybody, for listening. If you haven't joined our school community before, I'll put the link in the show notes below. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or subscribe to our YouTube channel. Until next time, everybody, bye-bye. That wraps up another episode of Speaking Holistically. Thank you for listening. We hope today's conversation gave you new insights and inspiration to take charge of your health. If you enjoyed this episode and want to hear more, be sure and join the Speaking Holistically school community by clicking the link in the show notes. There, you'll get access to daily podcast episodes, weekly live Q&As, educational content, and so much more. You can also connect with us on our Facebook page, follow us on Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Until next time, be well, stay curious, and keep speaking holistically.